Morning, everybody. I'm in the studio today. I got my friend Ben here from Seabreeze Plumbing. Ben, we met at the Lowcountry Young Professionals event a couple weeks ago. Just kind of hit it off. I was standing there. I do photos. I'm a little aged out of that group. I am 53, so I don't fit within the the young aspect of that.
On.
I am a Lowcountry professional.
You look it. So
I do. So that it kind of lets me slide in. So you're fairly new to Beaufort.
Yes, I've been here about a year.
A year. What brought you to Beaufort?
Ultimately, my wife and I chose Beaufort because of my best friend. He had already lived here for a few years. I helped him move a few years back. So that really is what landed us here. But we were from Connecticut, and we just got, sick of the cold like every other person says. And we also had a boat that we bought a few years ago. You only get like 3 months out of the year, and we're like, man, we love this boat so much. We want to enjoy it more.
Of course.
Why not find a new spot? And then when we decided to move, we thought about visiting my buddy George, who moved down here, and rest is history.
You were hooked. Yeah, I think that's a story for a lot of folks. Maybe not helping somebody move kind of locks you in, but vacationers, it happens a lot. They come in, they see the area, they get hooked, and it's the way it is.
Yeah.
So we're here to talk about the plumbing aspect of what you do.
Yeah.
So Seabreeze Plumbing, you've been around, or you've been doing plumbing for 17 plus years, you said?
Yeah, I've been doing it a long time.
That's a long time. And how old are you?
I'm only 30.
Okay,
so I started
half your
very
life
young. Yeah. I started young as a van runner. I kind of just knew I was going to go into a vocational tech school, because we have some in Connecticut for the trades. And, I just wanted to get a summer job when I was 13. Started as a van runner, and then it just took off from there. Ended up in the plumbing shop, and it all worked out.
You love it.
I really do. It kind of started as like more of like a fallback. Like, I could always be a plumber if something else doesn't work out. And then I just was working with my hands. I really did, gather a passion for it. And it's, I like the business side of it too. So it's been good.
I get that. Yeah. I mean, 'cause there's not really a lot of monotony in what you do, because every call is not going to be the same for the most part, right? So you do get some variable things that you're doing throughout your day.
Yeah. I mean, you'll get similar calls, obviously. You'll get leaks, but each leak is different. Each customer is different. Every interaction you have with someone. Yeah, so everything's unique about it. That's what I really like.
What do you prefer to do? What's your favorite call, if there were one?
My favorite call, if there was one. That's a good question. I really like finish work. Because that's when, which is like the end of a bigger project. And you come in and you just, finish everything, you install the valves, the faucets, you neaten everything up that you had previously installed. So you see your install come all together. And it's done, it's finished. And then you get the final paycheck. So that's always nice.
That's always the nice part,
But it's definitely like the nicest looking part of the job.
I get that, do you do new installs? So if there's a new build, you'll come in and outfit the whole house?
Of course, yeah. So in my 17 years, I've done a whole cusp of everything: residential, commercial, new construction, which is the new installs. We'll do smaller new installs, like brand new water heaters, and convert older tank styles to the new tankless styles for more efficiency. So I definitely cover pretty much everything.
Pretty much everything. Where are you located at?
Right now, I live in Beaufort, and we're starting right out here at Beaufort. We service both Beaufort and Bluffton, Hilton Head. That main area. We go out to Fripp. But we're right out here, right in Mossy Oaks neighborhood.
Excellent.
Right now.
Perfect. Obviously, you've got a social media presence. I was looking that over this morning ahead of today. Your website looks phenomenal. All the information's there. What is the URL for the website?
seabreezeplumbing.net, which I know might be a change up for most people. .com was taken, unfortunately. But that's the URL for the website. You
can
visit us there.
Contact information there, kind of an outline of what you do, a little bit about you. There's a nice bio about you as well. So for folks at home that are watching, so obviously we just had 2 days of cold weather. Any tips for homeowners that they can do? Obviously, we're not as cold as Connecticut, so it's going to be different maintenance and keeping things done. But what can homeowners do through the winter here in the Lowcountry to kind of maintain and make sure they're not going to have any issues?
Well, I'd say the main thing would be to, get a home inspection done. We do whole house plumbing inspections, which we can, address these issues before the cold weather even hits. But if it's too late in the game and the weekend's coming up and it's about to be a cold snap, then do whatever you can to insulate any exposed pipes, especially in crawl spaces, attics, those tankless water heaters that are usually mounted outside. Stuff some insulation around them. If it's really cold, open up cabinets that are on outside walls because the warm air from the room will push under there. That'll help. You can open up a faucet to allow it to drip.
Yep.
Which I recommend to do.
That's the common thing that I've
That's
known.
the common thing.
Yeah.
I recommend to do that actually on the hot side or maybe even in the middle, both cold and hot. But if you're going to do one, do the hot because then it moves the water through the cold and then also through the hot.
Makes
and
sense.
Moving water is a lot harder to freeze, so that's why we recommend it.
The science behind that is just crazy. Who was the first guy that thought, if I just run this water, it's not going to freeze?
Yeah.
So is there a PM, kind of like a maintenance plan? Typically with HVAC and things like that, you have a preventive maintenance that you come in and do. Is there something that somebody wanted to do? Do you recommend that?
Yeah. Water heaters are definitely a big one. Okay. We do preventive maintenance on a lot of water heaters. I actually just did one for a fellow businessman, Sawyer Davis, here in town. Great guy. And he only had the water heater for a year.
Okay.
And what we pulled out of that water heater, we were both jaw dropped.
Wow.
There's a lot of hard water. There's a lot of sediment settled. Yep. He was big on the efficiency of it, so we made sure that it was running efficiently. So water heater maintenance is a big one. Tankless water heater maintenance is a big one. We do the whole house inspection, like I had mentioned. Sorry, drawing a blank there.
Yeah, no.
The whole house inspection, which doesn't necessarily need to be done, as a maintenance program, but it's a good initiation, which I've actually just done for several customers here, and we got them on the right track for little things in their house. You know? So it's definitely a huge thing.
Do you work with say brokers, but maintenance property companies, and then kind of service some of their issues? So if there was a maintenance company looking, like Brian Stinger Management, Home Management, for example, say if they reached out, you would be able to service their properties. Is that something you would do as well?
Yeah. Truthfully, we're still setting up a lot of our maintenance programs and kind of initiating them. We're a younger company. I've only been in business for about a month with Seabreeze Plumbing. So we're still building a solid foundation, but we're working on maintenance programs which we can offer to bigger, bigger complexes and whatnot.
Makes sense. Mm-hmm. Are flushable wipes really flushable? Obviously, so I say that tongue in cheek. Anything that can go down the drain is typically flushable. Yeah. But what say you about those that are advertised as flushable? Is it a gimmick? Are they degradable? Are they going to deteriorate? What's the deal?
I think ultimately, I would say it's just considered a gimmick.
Yeah.
They are flushable. They will eventually, degrade. But oftentimes they cause issues before that happens, so they don't degrade as fast as toilet paper and anything else that goes down there. So I've always, and most plumbers suggest, don't throw any flushable wipes down the drain.
Yeah.
If you have any kind of grinder pumps, they'll bind up the pumps. That that can cause bigger, more expensive issues. And then if you have a septic, they can often clog the septic, which then you have to get pumped out and diagnosed, and it could usually snowball. So a lot of times when we come into these bigger jobs where it's it should be an easy fix, but then it snowballs, it's something that shouldn't be flushed down the drain, and often flushable wipes.
I had a nightmare of a property that we were renting. 77 James F. Burns was the property, but so often, and I'm the type of renter, if I can do the work, I'm going to do it. It got to the point where I knew where the septic was at. I would dig it up. I would open it up. I would unclog the deal. You know what I mean? Because we would have some issues with that. And eventually they had to put a new drain field and all that in the property. So it just been that old, and it wasn't that. But, it's a nightmare if there's an issue or if there's a backup, and then, all this other stuff that goes into it, because it'll cost you money. Yeah,
definitely. One thing I've noticed, being in the trade so long, and I always tell customers, going back to the whole preventative maintenance thing, is plumbing. The reason we're so busy is because it snowballs. It always snowballs. One thing turns into another. The more preventative maintenance practices you guys can implement in your everyday lives for plumbing, which I know is tough because we're all so busy, the more money you're going to save.
Yeah,
over time.
we take it for granted that you put the waste of whatever just goes down here, then that's it. You're done with it. But there's a whole system that it goes to and leads to. And if one thing bottlenecks, and it's going to lead to other issues there.
Yeah, and it usually bottlenecks for a couple weeks undetected.
And
before
then,
it becomes an
for
issue.
sure.
Yeah,
exactly right.
Yeah.
You have a nightmare story that you want to share? Something that you went into and it was way bigger than what you had anticipated? Or maybe, something... somebody else.
I mean, every plumber has a nightmare story.
Yeah.
Is there anyone I want to share? No.
You ever fallen into a septic?
No.
Okay.
I've never done anything like that. There was one time, I don't know if I would tell the story great, but there was a sump pump. This was kind of a funny one. A sump pump is a pump that's in the ground for anyone who doesn't know, and it just ejects the water from the ground so it doesn't flood your basement. And this is back in Connecticut. They're a lot more common. But long story short, I had got there, and I thought I had turned it off. I didn't. I hit the float, which kicks it on, and it just shot right up in my face. And I was with an apprentice. We laughed about it. So I was like, oh, what the heck? I thought I unplugged it. So I unplugged it, and I was like, well, now I got to test it. And I did it again. And I did unplug it, but it had a battery backup. So I shot myself in the face again.
Twice.
So that was a funny one.
That's
but a
hilarious.
nightmare story... I mean, there's always, it's not a perfect world.
Of course.
We always do our best to stay professional and, take care of the customer's home and, take our experience and implement it so we avoid mistakes. But there's been times where, I've shut stuff off, cut something open, and a customer comes in and turns on the water without asking. And it's like, whoa. So something like that. There was one time I did a bath remodel, and it was on the outside wall of this person's house, and when we demoed their shower, how their house was even standing, I don't know. Behind it, it was like there must have been a fire in the wall at a previous time, and they had no wall behind their shower. We had to add 2 weeks to the job and had to take out the entire exterior wall of their house and redo it, which was completely unexpected. So that was a nightmare. The customer was extremely appreciative and cool about it, and understanding, which was nice.
Wow.
But, yeah, that was definitely an eye-opener.
We'll wrap up here soon. Do you have 24-hour service? So if somebody reaches out to you and there's an issue, you're able to do 24-hour?
Yes. Yes, we have 24-hour service. We also just implemented a software where it's virtually impossible to miss a phone call.
Okay.
If we do miss the phone call, there's basically an AI assistant that takes basic information, puts it into a script.
Okay.
We get notified of it, and you'll get a call back ASAP. So we do have 24-hour service.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you hiring?
As of right now, no, but it is definitely in the business plan, and it is in the goal to get an office manager on board as soon as possible, to get another technician on board as soon as possible.
Still in the infancy stage of a new business, so obviously that growth is going to happen.
Yeah.
So make sure you stay tuned to the social media and stuff, and if Ben's hiring.
You'll definitely notice it.
Okay. So where can folks, so we'll see you at probably the next LYP event. You and I will probably cross paths again. What do you think about Beaufort, Port Royal? Now that you've lived here for a little bit, what's your thought?
On the community?
Yeah, the community, the community involvement, the area, maybe the landscape, the architecture. What's your
so I mean, I love it. Yeah. Obviously, I'm super glad that I moved here. It's been a great change of pace. Everyone's been so welcoming. Hearing about my story and why I moved here. Yeah. It seems like conversations go a lot further, which is nice. And the landscape's beautiful. It's a lot sunnier here, warmer. So
for sure.
It's a lot better vibe on the soul. So
and you get to use the boat.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Exactly. So
do you fish, or is it just the boating aspect of it being out on the water and kind of anchoring up and just?
I want to get into fishing.
Okay.
I'm not big into fishing right now.
Yeah.
Excuse me. The boat that we had up north was a wakeboarding lake boat, so we weren't unfortunately we weren't able to bring it.
Yeah.
But so it's a whole different style and everything. Yeah. But I mean, we're just happy when we're out on the water. All your problems disappear.
It's crazy how that works.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. Well, Ben, I appreciate you coming in.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Please follow Ben on social media, everybody. Like and follow his Facebook and Instagram pages. Interact and engage. If you have questions, hit him up, and he'll be able to answer it.
Yeah,
all right.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.